Welcome to the Personal Project Podcast. This is a personal development podcast where I, katyarrington, discuss my personal project, me. I'm an artist and life coach, and I struggled with anxiety, depression, insecurities, self-loathing, procrastination, and so much more. This podcast is my weekly update on what I'm doing to create a better life for myself. Hello. Welcome to episode 25, halfway to 50. Holy crap. And then that's halfway to 100. Oh my God, we're making it, you guys. So let's get on to the topic. I want to say that I am completely and utterly imperfect, and it really shouldn't be any other way. Surprise, surprise, coaches are humans too, and I experienced, I think, a teeny weeny amount of burnout this week. I was feeling very uninspired to create and podcast, but I'm willing to show this side of me too. So, hello, welcome to Uninspired, Tired Katy. It's really funny because I had a very different episode planned actually for this week. I was actually feeling very high energy last week. I experienced a lot of failures, successes too, but when I managed my mind around failure, it's like fucking incredible. I mean, of course, it didn't feel great at first, but then I always realized that I learned something from it. I always learn from things from it, and then I'm able to be super proud of myself for failing. I was thinking things like, man, look at how much I'm willing to fail. If I'm willing to fail this much, my art and my business is going to be awesome. I'm abundant in discomfort. If discomfort is all it takes, like, fuck yeah, bring it on, I can do it. Then I also listened to a podcast episode from another coach that I really, really love, and that shot me up even higher. And honestly, it felt like I was shaking with how high energy I was. I felt like I reached this new level of mental strength, and I've gotten to the point where I've memorized my affirmations so much that anytime I was aware of my mind, I would repeat my affirmation. I would just start saying it. It was awesome. But I was also feeling very, very impatient about moving to my new place. My initial place wasn't ideal, but for the first month there, I was really, really working on my mindset and working hard to be very grateful for a bed, for clean drinking water, for a family. And looking back, I'm very impressed actually with how well I was doing around that. Like, I'm impressed with all the self-coaching work I did. But then when I found my new place, I got really lazy with that work. And I really started to blame my environment for how I felt. So I was feeling high energy, but I got frustrated very easily with my environment. I was thinking things like, if I was in my new place, I would be moving so much faster. This place is holding me back. Spoilers, it wasn't the environment holding me back. It was my thinking. I was thinking that once I'm in the new place, I'll be like Speedy Gonzalez, and I was going to be like a productive maniac. A few days before I left my new place, there was a blackout and the Wi-Fi wasn't working. And with that, I was like, yep, the environment is the problem. And I totally gave in to the urge of laying in bed all day and doing nothing. My energy was so downhill from there because I was just like, there's just no point right now. This place is just bad. I'm just going to wait until I get to the new place and it's going to be great. Well, I got to my new place and I totally brought that low vibe energy with me. And I started to get really scared. Like, I'm now in this new place that I thought was going to fix my attitude, but I'm still feeling really uninspired. I was moving slow and just meh. And I also know that it has nothing to do with lack of sleep because I slept super early one night and I still felt really tired. And after a few days of being here, I was just waiting and waiting for that fire to come back with this kind of like fear in the back of my mind, thinking like, oh man, something's so wrong right now. What if I can't get out? What if I'm just stuck here? What if this is really bad? I already know this intellectually, but I'm very, very grateful to have learned this in an actual example in my life now. that our environment is not going to make us become the person we want to be. I have to make that decision on purpose. And I kind of really had to face that today and this last week, that like, this place is not going to be the reason I succeed. So then I was like, okay, I can't keep waiting for this shit, right? And I need to figure out what the fuck is going on right now. So of course, thank God for podcasts and books and resources out in the world, because I listened to an episode on the Life Coach School podcast called Giving Up or Burning Out. And I also listened to Manifestation Babe's Help I'm Uninspired podcast episode to really help me understand what was happening better. And then I did some reflection about it. I did some self-coaching and like thought downloads and trying to understand what was going on. And I discovered that the reason I was super high energy last week to the point where I was feeling like I was going to explode is because I imagined myself working a ton in this new place, and I was excited to do that. But what was fueling me was the idea that other people in this guest house was going to see me working a lot and thinking, oh wow, like look at how much she worked, she's going to be very successful. And then, of course, my brain also wanted me to go into thinking about my ex, and that if he saw me super into my business and not giving a shit about him, I would be the quote-unquote winner. So thank you, Brooke, for reminding me that the reason we experience burnout is not because we work too much, it's because of what fuels that work. If I'm being fueled by fear, scarcity, or this need to prove myself, I'm going to burn out. It's why there are people who are energized by working 12-hour days and others are completely and totally depleted after like 6 hours. I was indulging in a lot of like, it's hard, I'm tired. And these last few days, which was really depleting the little amount of energy I did have. And you know what, Katie? Yeah, it is hard. That's not a reason not to do it. But because I was totally out of alignment with like why I'm doing all of this stuff in this first place, it made it 10 times harder, and I had like a mini burnout. I wasn't at all like thinking about all the people I was going to help if I worked this much, and all the people I was going to reach and teach about coaching work. I wasn't thinking about the amazing art I was going to create, and all the shitty ones too that's going to teach me incredible things about myself and my visual eye and my hand-eye coordination and anatomy and, you know, all the things that I love about creating art. So now I'm just super insanely grateful that I got that burst of energy when I hadn't already moved. Because if I had been here and I followed that energy, I could have experienced a much bigger and more devastating burnout. I'm just seriously so thankful that I learned that now, and I can be so much more deliberate in my actions now that I'm here in an environment that I really prefer, and be mindful of what is fueling me on purpose. Because what fuels the fuck out of me is helping people understand that they aren't crazy. That you, listening to me right now, who has a part of you that believes in yourself to do great things, but you self-sabotage and you hold yourself back, you're not messed up or insane, or you can't trust yourself like I thought about myself for so long. There's nothing wrong with you. I'm obsessed with spreading this message and teaching people about coaching and self-coaching and mental health and mind management, and really helping people with their mind around this. That is why it's worth doing hard things, Katie. Not because I want to prove something to myself, my ex, or other people. None of that stuff matters one freaking bit. What matters is somebody understanding that their thoughts create their feelings. I'm just seriously so freaking glad that I'm reminded of this right now. And it's really interesting timing because I happened to just finish reading a book called Start With Why. which is all about this exact thing. And then the universe just kind of gave me a real life example of it. And so then I got thinking too around how I was really feeling during that high energy. Again, I think I was once again confusing anxiety with excitement, or excitement with anxiety. I thought I was excited. I thought I was high energy. But I think there was at least a hum of anxiety in there. And I really am I'm starting to think that actually anxiety and nervousness and excitement are all very similar, and they feel very, it's kind of can be hard to distinguish, but I think anxiety and nervousness is fueled by scarcity and fear, whereas excitement is fueled by joy and abundance. That's, I think, like a really great way for me to think about those two and how to distinguish those two. So when you create art, why you do it is so much more important than how or what you do. Tap into yourself and find out why it's worth failing and getting back up again. Like, what's that reason for you? Why do you keep doing it? It's the why that fuels you and makes you feel joy even when things are hard. That is how you persevere, and that is how the work energizes you rather than depletes you. That is how you don't experience burnout even when things are hard. So that is what I learned this week and what I can share with you today. I hope that was helpful. I hope this will maybe possibly prevent you from experiencing your own burnout in the future. And if it doesn't, if you do experience burnout, I really hope that this will become a learning experience for you too. Like, you'll be able to learn this yourself, which is really, really amazing value, actually. And again, I get to this place where I experience kind of like a low point, but every single time I experience a low point, I always learn something amazing out of it. But it's just during the low point that I forget sometimes that there's an amazing lesson here somewhere. And I'm gonna do my best to remember that more so that the low points doesn't feel as low. Okay, guys, thanks so much for listening, and I'll talk to you next week. And I just really hope that you're having an amazing day and that you're feeling really good because you are feeling your why deep inside you, running through your veins. Okay, I'll talk to you next week. Bye! Thanks so much for listening, guys. If you want to get some deep, personalized mindset work done, DM me on Instagram or book a free coaching call in the link in the description. You get to relax and get things off your chest in a safe, judgment-free zone. I promise I'm super nice and friendly. If you like my work, you can follow me on Instagram at katyillustrates. And if you like success mindset and confidence inspiration, you can follow me at my coaching Instagram at katyarrington. Have a badass day today, make yourself proud, and I'll talk to you next week.